let me answer your questions today. Welcome back to my channel. Alright, let's start with question number 1. I have been carnivore, mostly beef, raw fat, tallow and bone marrow, also lots of bone broth, some liver and kidney for 1.5 years, and I am still losing hair, plus my skin has been very dry since starting this diet. Was low-fat vegan before. Also, my cycle is totally out of regularity for a few months now. So this is a bit of an unusual symptom, having to deal with the hair loss while being on the carnivore diet. And you've been on the carnivore diet for a while, a year and a half, so you should be basically reaping only benefits. And you also mentioned that your period started changing a few months back while you've been already on a carnivore diet for a while. So my thoughts are that probably you have to change the diet that you're on currently. I'm not sure how long you've been vegan. Perhaps the length of time that you've been vegan translates to how long you have to be on the carnivore diet to reverse the damage from being vegan, because it's different for people that have been vegan for 3 years versus people that have been vegan for 10, 15, 20 years. And these long-term vegans take the longest to recover with the use of carnivore diet. My thinking is, since there is an unwanted symptom of irregular cycle happening while you've been on the carnivore diet, that tells me that you probably have to modify your carnivore diet a little bit. It seems like you are on this ketogenic protocol that we oftentimes use for autoimmune conditions. So if you don't have any underlying autoimmune conditions, I would start looking at adding a little bit of carbohydrates into your diet. So you can start with honey and you will still be a proper carnivore. But if that doesn't do it for you, then maybe a little bit of fruit. And how you would introduce fruit, it would be like a peeled apple, peeled pear, berries, best in season, organic, because berries absorb the most of the pesticides. And probably be careful with things like tropical fruit. Another way to approach it is to reintroduce a little bit of dairy. And I'm guessing you don't have autoimmunity. Oftentimes people that have autoimmune conditions can't tolerate dairy in any shape or form. But if this isn't the case with you, then instead of a fruit, you can introduce dairy. And dairy will have carbohydrate in it as well, and that can just balance your hormones and everything will regulate itself as it should. Lastly, don't forget your environment. Perhaps there is some toxin that is causing your hair to fall out. Maybe you are extra sensitive to EMFs, like I am, that can dysregulate your menstrual cycle. I remember I used to be once in the apartment when a internet router was right next to my head, and I can tell you this, I wasn't able to sleep. So there are many different things in our environment that can also make us sick. Whether it is your diet or environment, be sure you keep experimenting and adjusting both your lifestyle, your environment, and your diet to achieve balanced health. Because you should not accept your hair falling out or your skin being really dry and rough. One other thing I can recommend for your skin in the meantime is you can whip a little bit of tallow with essential oils such as grapefruit oil or lavender oil, and you can rub it into your skin, and that also have really good effects on our skin. It makes it really soft and supple. Okay, next question is, do you still recommend your meal plan for increasing low stomach acid? Maybe you have something to add to it. I'm taking HCl supplements in dose of 3,000, but it seems I'm still having trouble digesting food, especially fat. I came up with the meal plan for very low stomach acid because too many people were complaining to me that they just cannot reverse the low stomach acid with the regular carnivore diet. And the typical advice of eat more steak or eat more proteins or drink more bone broth just wouldn't do it. In fact, a lot of them would feel even sicker. And then I myself got sick with a virus that destroyed my stomach lining. And so I was struggling myself with digesting of anything. And so combining the experience of this and the feedback I was receiving from my viewers, I realized that the reason you don't secrete enough stomach acid is that your body is trying to protect you from burning with that stomach acid the holes in your stomach, because you don't have that lining to protect from it. So you really have to rebuild the lining of your stomach, and then your stomach acid will be secreted as needed. But what to do? Because it's just like where to start, because it seems like a vicious cycle. So I thought of really, grinding and mincing of proteins with some liver to give your body the best tools that are already pre-digested for you to recover the stomach lining. And then banana and the egg yolk is basically just to give you some calories, so that something that can give you energy to get by. But it should be temporary. You should not go on for months with this meal plan. I would imagine that it would take on average about 10 days to get back to some normal functioning of your gut lining, and then you can start introducing some other foods to your diet. When it comes to supplementing for low stomach acid, HCl is definitely the most popular one, but here's the issue. A lot of people say that it doesn't work for them, so it's a hit and miss. Some people feel better and they feel their digestion improves, and some people feel sicker. So it isn't for everyone. Another way to go around it is to try some bitters. I did make a video about bitters, so I will link them in this description box, so you can check it out. But ultimately, you want to strive to improve your stomach lining so that it is completely normalized, so that your body can secrete stomach acid safely. When it comes to digestion of fats, most of the breakdown happens in our bowels. So you probably can benefit from supplementing with ox bile. And a lot of people, especially those that had gallbladder removed, they will rely on ox bile to break down their fats. All right, another question. Is PKD or carnivore diet useful for a person who has kidney stones? I haven't coached anybody that had kidney stones, but I also haven't come across anybody that was on the carnivore diet and developed kidney stones. Does intermittent fasting play a big role in PKD, or simply eat when hungry? Paleo Medicina does not recommend any form of fasting when doing paleo-ketogenic diet, and the main reason for that is that you are already on the diet that is fast mimicking, and that is the mechanism of inducing of ketosis. And when you are doing PKD, you're supposed to be in ketosis over 2. Now that said, the expectation is that you will eat only when really hungry. I mean, really hungry, not just a little bit of hunger or maybe some cravings. You just eat when really hungry, which usually ends up being 2 meals a day. Usually, people that are long-term carnivores will tell you that they just don't get hungry to have 3 big meals and snacks in between. So you will naturally end up doing intermittent fasting. But yeah, it is not a strict protocol that you have to be on the intermittent fasting regimen while doing PKD. Best advice for a 41-year-old woman who hasn't conceived yet despite trying for 3 years. Recently underwent surgery to remove endometriosis, fibroids and appendix, so hoping this is the trick. Been ketovore for 2.5 months now. Lots of fatty bacon, eggs, liver. I'm worried my eggs aren't good enough. Also, is decaf okay to keep up the ritual or morning? So it seems that you have a really good diet plan. So you are eating lots of saturated fats, organ meats, liver, fantastic, eggs and red meat, and you are staying in ketosis, which means that you are in the anti-inflammatory metabolic state. So this is all very supportive, including recovering from the procedures that you underwent. Now the question gets to be, how much time will your body need that kind of regimen to really optimize functioning of your whole body and your reproductive system? So it looks like everything is going well. One thing I would add And that comes from my experience with traditional folk medicine, that somebody that was sick underwent a surgery, they would increase the amount of organ meats that they would be consuming. So normally, if all goes well, we would eat in the village about liver or some type of organ meat once a month, sometimes twice a month. And if you are sick, you should be eating it quite frequently, every couple of days, until you feel better. All right, so let's forget about me being a carnivore coach. And now I'll just share with you my own personal story with getting pregnant at 41. So I was also worried that maybe I'm too old, maybe my eggs are not that good anymore. So what I've done was went to the fertility doctor from the get-go. Both me and my husband just got a complete checkup of every hormone, everything that can interfere with getting pregnant. And it is important the type of doctor that you choose. So you want somebody that has a really good expertise with people that have diminished ovarian reserve. So this is the hormone AMH, anti-Mullerian hormone. And also the standard is checking of the FSH. But also at 41, you want to check your thyroid and androgenic hormones. Even our ovaries are producing a little bit of testosterone, which increases fertility. And past the age of 40, those hormones tend to break down, and we have a lot less androgenic hormones as women than we should for ideal fertility. Now, the testing was really comprehensive. So if you are interested, the doctor that I went to, and I think he consults people from all over the world, send me a message through Instagram, and I send you his details. And while we were waiting for the results of the tests, which were so many, I can't even remember all of them, including like complete genetic tests for all kind of genetic disease that we may carry. The doctor told us from the get-go to start supplementing with mega doses of coenzyme Q10, and this is his own brand. So you are supposed to take 1,000 milligrams a day, both you and your partner. And what it is proven, he demonstrates it in the studies that he lists on his website, is that coenzyme Q10 in this dose rejuvenates your whole body, including your reproductive systems and the quality of your eggs. So I took this for the first 4 days, and because these beautiful pills are in olive oil, to which I'm allergic, but I didn't know it, I woke up after 4 days with a massive joint pain, so I had to stop these ones and resort to the more cheaper ones with that are made with sunflower oil. But that was fine, I could supplement with those. So if you are insensitive to olive oil, the doctor says that it is really good to improve the absorption with the olive oil. And the other supplement that I was told to take was DHEA in the amount of 25 milligrams once a day, and that was to counteract the breakdown of androgenic hormones. And I was taking that maybe for a week before I got pregnant. And another thing that came up for me was the thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. So I was within the range, which was normal for my age. However, when it comes to fertility, you're supposed to be really in the lower range, like maximum of 2.5, whatever the measurement is. And I was like somewhere like 11. The cutoff is 15. So I had to bring down my thyroid stimulating hormones, and it is good for improving of fertility, but also it is good for your offspring, because very high TSH can impact the IQ of your baby. So this is another thing that you want to check for. And I was controlling my thyroid stimulating hormone with desiccated thyroid. So both me and my husband were taking mega doses of coenzyme Q10 for about a month and a half. and then I was taking DHEA for about a week, and then I found out I was already pregnant, so no further treatment was needed. We basically just got all the results and I was pregnant. So I don't know whether coenzyme Q10 was this helpful, or it's just so happened that everything just fell into place. Was it a year and a half of being on the carnivore diet that made it possible to get pregnant this quickly? But I didn't want to wait. The moment we decided that we want the second baby, I was like, let's find out where the possible problems may be, because when it comes to being 41 years old and waiting another 6 months or another year, that is the window of opportunity that may close, and you could have done some fertility treatments in the meantime. Now, are you able to recover fully just being on the carnivore diet? I'm sure it's just a question of time, how much time your body will need to start working optimally. And that is the time I thought at 41 I didn't want to take any risks. So rather than say, oh, I could have done it 6 months ago, I could have started this treatment or that fertility treatment, I just wanted to know from the beginning, and that's why I went to the fertility doctor. Alright, so this will do it for this week's video. Question and answers was really fun. Share it with anybody that you think may have this type of questions. And if you are interested, I will do these Q&As from time to time. In the meantime, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!